Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Going the Distance, the show where we talk about sports and music. On today's show, we've got a couple quarterback injuries to get into. A wide receiver got an injury after coming back from a concussion. Indianapolis just signed a old-time quarterback, which I'm excited about, but we'll get into it. I've got the Week 14 scores, the Week 15 predictions, and we have a new Formula One champion we'll talk about. And as always, we have the who we're listening to and what we're listening to. So before we get started, I want to thank you guys for joining me on the 105th episode of the show. If you haven't done so already, hit the thumbs up button and like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode when I post a video or a short, or even when I do a poll. So let's jump into it. So first, let's talk about Jaden Daniels of the Washington Redskins, or the Commanders. So a few weeks ago, he had this horrific arm injury where he dislocated his elbow. And I thought it was a break, but it was a dislocation. And the injury looked so bad that it looked like he was going to be out all season. I thought he was going to be out all season. Well, he surprised everybody and made his return against Minnesota last week. And what happened? He injures his arm again. Now, will he be out this week? I don't know. I don't know the significance of it. But you've heard me say this about Joe Burrow. You've heard me say this about all the quarterbacks that have these injuries and come back too soon. They come back too soon, and this late in the season, just hold them out until next season so their arm or their wrist or their whatever they injured, their ankle, their knee, heals. Because you're going to do more damage to them by putting them back out there than just holding them out, which happened to Daniel Jones last week, which follows into the next story. Daniel Jones tears his Achilles during the game last week. Now, it was on the opposite leg from where his leg was broken. So now, he can't walk. He's going to be wheelchair bound, and he'll probably never play again. Because he was playing through a broken fibula, which was ridiculous. What was the point in that, Indianapolis? Oh, I know. You had Peyton Manning and no backup quarterback for Peyton Manning, so we know the smarts that you have. But Daniel Jones shouldn't have been playing on that leg in the first place. And then, during the game last week, he tears his Achilles on the other leg to now he can't walk. And it was a non-contact injury. So it wasn't like somebody hit him, he went down and he tore his Achilles. He was stepping back, and he tore it going back. He stepped back, and then he just dropped to the ground. Now, that being said, several years ago, he tore his ACL in a non-contact when Jones was playing for the Giants. So now he'll never be the same. He will never be the same, and I will be surprised if I see him next season, because this is just ridiculous that they did this to him. And like I said, he'll never be the same. He'll always either walk with a limp, or he won't have the speed that he had if he comes back. If he's able to come back and play, he doesn't have that speed. So speaking of Indianapolis, since Daniel Jones went down, since the rookie backup has a knee injury, and since Mr. Tired, Anthony Richardson, is recovering from an eye injury, which everybody kind of forgot about Anthony Richardson because I thought the man was just out in the back taking a nap because he was so tired. Indianapolis went looking for these other quarterbacks, and one of the quarterbacks that they reached out to was a former Indianapolis Colt himself. Well, who is that, you might ask? I'll tell you. It's not Peyton Manning. It's not Carson Wentz. It's none of those other thousands of quarterbacks that they've had in the past 10 or 11 years, however long it's been. Seems like they've had a new quarterback every year. Y'all, it's none other than Phillip Rivers. Yes, Indy signed Phillip Rivers, who is 44 years old, just had his birthday on December the 8th. Signed Phillip to the practice squad on Tuesday, which means by Sunday, at least Friday, they may sign him to the regular roster for him to play on Sunday. Now, he's 44. He's just turned 44 years old. Has at least one grandchild because he's got 10 kids. And can he play? Yeah, he can play. And he loves to play. But we all knew Phillip Rivers from the San Diego LA Chargers, which he played for from 2004 to 2019. And then the Chargers cut him loose, and he goes to Indianapolis. He plays a season in Indianapolis, and that's in 2020, and then he doesn't play again. Now, this year, he was named as a semifinalist to the Hall of Fame, which I reported on a few weeks ago. That being said, since he has signed with the Colts now, his 5 years resets. It's not like, okay, you've been out of the league 5 years, we're still going to put you in the Hall of Fame. No, they're not doing that. Since he re-signed with Indianapolis today, even though it's just the practice squad, he's still on a roster. His Hall of Fame resets, which means Ben Roethlisberger is more than likely going to get into the Hall of Fame before Phillip Rivers. But now here's the thing. Phillip knows this system with the Colts, and J.J. Watt pointed out that Phillip has been running the same offense as the Colts for his son's high school team this season. Phillip Rivers and the head coach of Indianapolis have talked weekly about it, discussing plays and even film. So it's not like Phillip Rivers is going to go into this blind. He's going into this with the mindset of, oh, I'm going to be running the same plays or I'm going to be playing in the same type of offense that I was calling for my oldest son's high school team, or whatever son it is, high school team. Something I've always thought was interesting about Phillip and his 10 kids is that 2 of his kids were born on the same day, just like 5 years apart from each other. So they celebrate 2 birthdays on the same year, just the kids are 5 years apart. That's amazing. Now, if we're going to talk a little bit about old-timey quarterbacks, yes, I know we talk about Tom Brady on this because Tom Brady is the man. Nobody can touch him. So, that being said, here's a stat for you that I bet y'all don't even know. I didn't even know this, and I've been a Tom Brady fan for years. Tom Brady never played a snap in the NFL where he was mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, he played for the Patriots for 20 years. And with the Patriots, they had a winning record with him every year. They won 6 Super Bowls and went to 10 Super Bowls with him. They had a winning record for 20 years while he was there. He leaves the Patriots and he goes to Tampa Bay, where in his first year, he won the Super Bowl. He was there for another 2 years, and they were in playoff contention every year he was there. Tell me that's not the mark of the greatest quarterback of all time. And not Mahomes, not Aaron Rodgers, nobody is touching him, especially not Aaron. Because Aaron just cries at the drop of a hat about anything. I mean, he's looking for the flag. He's mad about everything, and it's time for him to go. I hope this year in Pittsburgh is his last year, and he gets to move on. Now, speaking of some news, I saw this a few days ago. It was reported, I believe it was on Sunday. Russell Wilson was on the CBS pregame, just like Jameis Winston was on the Fox pregame. So, Russell Wilson is on CBS, and they're talking to him, and he announces that he is going to retire after this season, I've heard. I honestly believe he should have retired after he was released from the Seahawks, because his career has never been the same, but he still wants to play. So, he's got a Super Bowl ring. He will go down, in my opinion, as a great quarterback. And he knows when to go home. He doesn't know. He's not one of those players that just stick around just because. He loves the game, like Phillip Rivers loves the game. Should Phillip Rivers be playing now? Absolutely not. The man's 44 years old, got 10 kids, and at least one grandchild. So, no, he shouldn't be playing. And it just shows Indianapolis's desperateness of it all. But that's just it. So, Russell, if this truly is your last season, it's been an honor to watch you, buddy. I've pulled for you your entire career, and I can't wait to see what you do in retirement. I know you've got 4 kids with Sierra, and you just did this pregame on CBS. So maybe we'll see you on CBS or Fox or ESPN on a pregame. And you might even sign and do commentary. Who knows? But you've had a great career, and it's been an honor to see you, buddy. It's been an honor to watch you. All right, so let's move into some Week 14 scores. Now, we started out on Thursday night with the Cowboys and the Lions. The Lions defeated the Cowboys 44-30. No big surprise. On Sunday, we had the Seahawks defeat the Falcons 37-9. And that happened in the second half, because going into that game, it was 6-6 going into halftime. They come out, Seattle just steamrolls over the Falcons. So, I'm not surprised. All right, the next game is my game of the week. There's always one, y'all. There's always one that I say the game of the week is, and this was it. And if I didn't say it last week, this was the game I would have picked for the game of the week, because just number one, because of the quarterbacks. Josh Allen and the Bills defeated Joe Burrow and the Bengals 39-34. That was such a wild game. They played in the snow, and when I found that out, I said the Bills have this win. I didn't pick that game last week because I like both quarterbacks, and I knew this was going to be a game that I couldn't pick, because I knew it was going to be high scoring. I knew it was going to be, it was going to be cold. I just didn't know the significance of it. Now, that being said, in that game, T. Higgins got a concussion. He got hit once. His head bounced off the turf. He went to the medical tent, and the medical staff released him to go back out on the field. He goes back out on the field, and within 3 plays, his head bounces off the turf again. That ground was cold, and it was frozen. His head bounced off the turf again. He played the rest of the game. Now, this was, the first time he got hit in the first half. Second time was the second half he got hit. And he was cleared to go back out. It wasn't until after the game that he started experiencing symptoms. And now he's in concussion protocol again because he had just come back from a concussion that he suffered last week or the week before. And then he gets another one this week. So now he may be out again this coming week. It's absolutely ridiculous, y'all, how these teams are so short-sighted. I mean, yeah, Joe Burrow's going to throw to T. Higgins. He's going to throw to Jamar Chase. He's got other weapons he can throw to. You know that they're going to cover T. Higgins. So you throw to him, and you need to make sure you don't bounce off the ground. Even though I know you can't really help it, I guess, but still, it's not worth it. But that was my game of the week. And T, we hope for a speedy recovery, and we hope you can get back to normal, buddy. In a surprise win in the next game, the Titans win their second game and defeat the Browns 31-29. The Vikings defeat the Redskins, or the Commanders, 31-0, shut them out, and that was after the Redskins' quarterback, Jaden Daniels, goes out with another injury. So now, Redskins, I shouldn't have to say this because Dan Quinn, you're smart enough to know this. Jaden doesn't need to play the rest of the season. Your season's lost. You've won 3 games all season. 3 games. Set Jaden out. Get him ready for next year. So you've got a starting quarterback. Same thing with you, Cincinnati. Keep T. Higgins out. You've only got 3 games left. I don't see you making it to the playoffs, Cincinnati. And that's a shame because I had Cincinnati as a team to watch this season. But now keep T. Higgins out. He doesn't need a 3rd concussion this season. He doesn't need to get beat up this season. Moving on. The Dolphins defeated the Jets 34-10. In another surprise win, the Saints defeat the Buccaneers 24-20. Now, that's interesting because the Buccaneers were like by far head and shoulders above all the other teams. Carolina was in second place and they were like 2 games back. Well, now Carolina and the Buccaneers have the same record, and Carolina and the Bucs are tied for first place. So, Buccaneers, you've got a game Thursday night. I believe it's against Atlanta. Are you going to win that game? It's another division game, just like the Saints were a division game. Are you going to win that game, or are you going to let Atlanta get their 3rd or 4th win of the season and beat you? We'll see. I'll get to my predictions in a minute. But the Saints defeat the Buccaneers 24-20. The Jaguars defeat the Colts 36-19, and that's with Daniel Jones going out with his injury, that rookie coming in and hurting his knee during that game. The Steelers defeat the Ravens 27-22 to get back in first place. Wish you'd won, Ravens. The Broncos defeat the Raiders 24-17. And what I would say the second game of the week was, the Packers defeated the Bears 28-21. Y'all, Jordan Love is an absolute great quarterback. He was 17-25, 234 yards and 3 touchdowns. He played his heart out on Sunday, and that was a great game, just like the Bills-Cincinnati game was a great game. Moving on, the Rams defeated the Cardinals 45-17 to take over the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're now number 1 in their division and the number 1 seed in the NFC. Now, that being said, we're going to continue with the NFC here because something I forgot to mention about that Bears-Packers game is that determined first place in that division. So now the Packers have taken over first place in their division and gotten, I believe it's the 4th seed in the playoffs. And going into last week, the Bears were leading that division, and they were the 3rd or 4th seed. And they've dropped from 3rd or 4th in playoff contention to 7th. They hold the last spot in the playoffs in the NFC. But honestly, the Bears have been my surprise team this year. I wanted them to do good. I wanted to see Caleb Williams play to his potential like Bryce Young is playing to his potential now. Both of them have impressed me this season. Bryce Young in Carolina, Caleb Williams in Chicago. I know, I never thought I'd say it, but there it is. Okay, moving on to the Sunday night game, y'all. I think it's over. I think the Chiefs dynasty is over, y'all. Because the Texans defeat the Chiefs 20-10 on Sunday night. Patrick Mahomes had not 1, not 2. He had 3 interceptions in that game. And one of those interceptions was Travis Kelce's fault. It bounced off Kelce's chest into the Houston Texans' hands. I believe the dynasty's over, y'all. The Chiefs are sitting there at 6-7, and I'll tell you why I think the dynasty's over. Yes, they're sitting at 6-7. They're not going to win the division this year. 9 straight division wins, and it's either going to the Chargers or the Broncos this year. Now, here's the interesting thing. Before the Chiefs started their run in their dynasty, 2 years before the Chiefs started winning, the Broncos won the division. The year before the Chiefs started winning, the year after the Broncos won the division, the Chargers won the division. And then cheating Chiefs go on 9 straight years of winning the division. And this year, who are the top 2 teams in that division this year? That's right. The Broncos and the Chargers. So one of those 2 teams are going to win the division again, after those were the 2 teams to win the division before the Chiefs. Tell me that's not amazing, y'all. I'm thrilled for Houston. I'm thrilled to see the Chiefs lose, and they lost big, 20-10. And then on Monday night, we had the Chargers defeat the Eagles 22-19. So now the Chargers sit at 9 wins, 4 losses, and the Broncos are at 11 wins, 2 losses. So who wins that division? We're coming down to the wire, y'all. But moving on, and before we move on, who were y'all's favorite games last week? Who were y'all excited to see? And what did y'all think was the games of the week? I told you mine were that Bills-Cincy game. I thought that was a great game. And the Green Bay-Chicago game I thought were 2 great games. Who were y'all's favorites? Moving on to some Week 15 predictions. We have Thursday night. We have the Falcons at the Buccaneers. I'm picking the Bucs. On Sunday, we have the Browns at the Bears. I'm picking the Bears. We have the Ravens at the Bengals. I'm picking the Ravens in that game, even though I think that's going to be a good game. That's a division game, and that's going to be a good game. Just like Thursday night's Atlanta-Tampa game is a division game. This Ravens-Bengals game is going to be a good one. Joe Burrow might pull it out, but I think Lamar Jackson's going to do a lot of running in that game, so I'm picking the Ravens in that game. In another division game, we have the Chargers at the Chiefs. I'm picking the Chargers, and if y'all remember, in week 1, the Chargers and Chiefs played each other in, I think it was Mexico City, and the Chargers won. So, if the Chargers win this game, they sweep the Chiefs and get their 10th win. So, go Chargers. I'm picking the Chargers. In another division game, we have the Bills at the Patriots. Now, the Patriots are coming off their bye week. I'm not going to pick this one because I like both teams. And yes, I'm a Patriots fan. But, and do I think they're going to win? Yes. But do I think Josh Allen is going to put up one heck of a fight? Yes, I do. So if I had to pick that, I would pick the Patriots. But I think that's going to be the game of the week. Moving on to another division game, we have the Redskins or the Commanders at the Giants. I'm picking the Redskins. We have the Raiders at the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles. Although, who knows with that, the Raiders might beat them because the Eagles have been losing games back-to-back. I think last week was their 3rd straight loss for the Eagles. But I'm still picking the Eagles because I don't see the Raiders winning that game. We have the Jets at the Jaguars. I'm picking the Jaguars. We have the Cardinals at the Texans. I'm picking the Texans. Whew, this is going to be a good one, y'all. We have the Packers at the Broncos. You know what? I'm going to pick the Packers in the upset, y'all. I think the Packers are going to go into Mile High, and they're going to beat the Broncos. Even though I think that's going to be another game of the week like Bills-Patriots. Okay, and then moving on, we have the Lions at the Rams. As much as I like the Lions, and I think they can put up a good fight, and they need this win, I think the Rams are going to be too much for them, and I think the Rams come out with the win. We have the Panthers at the Saints. Y'all, I'm going to say something I haven't said in a very long time. You know what that is? I'm picking Carolina in this game. Yep, I said it. Mark it down right here. Week 15 of the NFL season of 2025, I picked the Carolina Panthers. We have the Titans at the 49ers. I'm picking the 49ers. We have the Colts at the Seahawks. I'm picking the Colts. I can't pick the Seahawks. Y'all know how I feel about Sam Darnold, and I think it's just ridiculous, so I'm picking the Colts. The Sunday night game is the Vikings at the Cowboys. I'm picking the Cowboys in that game. And on Monday night, we have the Dolphins at the Steelers. I'm picking the Steelers. Okay, so who are y'all's predictions for this coming week? Who's y'all's favorite team? And who do y'all think is going to be the game of the week? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear y'all's feedback. Okay, so moving on to some Formula One. I know we haven't really talked about it here lately, but the past 2 weeks we've been talking. We had the Formula One championship, and Landon Norris won the F1 championship in Abu Dhabi. He races for McLaren Mercedes, and he is a little bit about him. He is a 26-year-old born in Bristol, England. He has raced for McLaren Mercedes, as I said, this season. He's going to race for him next season. His car number is 4, and he's going to change to car number 1 in 2026. He's had 152 starts, 1 championship, 11 Formula One wins. He's had 1,430 career points and 16 pole positions. He first started in the Formula One in the Australian Grand Prix in 2019. And this season, he ranked first in points. Obviously, he won the championship with 423 points. And he didn't win the race. He came in third, but he still won the championship. So that's a lot like NASCAR. So, do y'all like F1? Who's y'all's F1 driver? I've just recently started liking F1, getting into F1 since I saw the movie. So, moving on to our What We're Listening To segment. Who are we listening to? We're listening to the Zac Brown Band. They're a country group out of Atlanta, Georgia. They formed in 2002, and I found out about them in 2008 with their song Chicken Fried and their album The Foundation, which was also their debut album. They've had 7 studio albums, 36 singles. They've had 15 U.S. number 1 singles and 7 Canada number 1 singles. 19 music videos, 1 compilation album, 3 live albums, and their new album, Love and Fear, just came out a few days ago. My favorite album from them is called The Foundation. It was their debut album. So, in the what song or albums we're listening to, because I know here lately I've been giving you guys albums to listen to, let's listen to The Foundation, the debut, and the new album, Love and Fear. And let me know what you guys think about those albums. And do you like Zac Brown? And as always, who are your favorite music genres, favorite music groups, or artists? Drop them in the comments, and you never know. They might show up in a Who We're Listening To. But that's it for today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Drop in the comments your thoughts, your predictions for next week's games, and like I said, your thoughts on it. But we will be back next week with a brand new episode, and enjoy the weekend, and God bless.